All right, today we're going to talk about another way to represent data. We're going to talk about something called box and whisker plots. So box and whisker plots look like this. What we have here is we have a number line. They're always going to be on a number line, okay? Normally there would be numbers on it too, but this is just my example for us to label. So you should take a moment, pause the video, sketch this out, and then so we can talk about the different parts of it, okay? So pause the video to sketch it and then restart so we can discuss the different parts of this box and whisker plot. All right, so first there's a number line. It could be above the data, it could be below the data, but there's always a number line, okay? And then this section right here we call the box, okay? And then these two sections we call the whiskers, so hence the name box and whisker plot, okay? And then you can see we have these 4 dots here. Those 4 dots are, this one is going to be the least value, so it's the smallest number in your data set. This dot up here, I'm sure you guessed it, is going to be the greatest value. Right in the dot that's the middle dot is the median. Makes sense, right? Median is middle in any data set. Okay. Then these 2 dots, we're going to talk about, those are the ones that are really going to be new for you today. This one we call the lower quartile, okay? And this one, I'm running out of space to draw my arrows here, but we call it the upper quartile. So again, if you don't have all these labels in, pause the video and get this all copied down. You're going to want to draw it nice and big so you've got enough space to label all these, okay? All right, so the purpose of a box and whisker plot is to allow us to compare data, to analyze data. And we might have 2 box and whisker plots on the same number line to help us compare data. So I'm going to show you an example in a textbook, okay? So I'm going to move this off to the side so we can look here. All right, this is just explaining what we did here. It's the same thing. We drew it out ourselves, so we've got it in our notes. But if we're looking at this box and whisker plot here, so you can see we have the number line, we have the title, it's clothing prices in dollars, and then we have 2 box and whisker plots because we're comparing prices at a mall, a store in the mall, and prices at a discount store. Let me see if I can clean that up just a little bit. Okay. If I zoom down a little bit, make it a little easier for you to see. There we go. All right. So what we're doing here is we're comparing the prices at these 2 stores. So we could talk about what we observe. So for example, I would say something like, when I look at this, what I see is that the mall store prices range from $15 to $50, where the discount store prices range from about maybe $14 to $45. Okay, so that might be a comparison you could make, because the instruction here is to write a paragraph comparing the data. So those could be 2 of your sentences. The box is where the majority of your data is, where like the middle half of your data is. So you could say something like, there are the mall store prices vary more because this box is a lot wider than this box, which means the majority of prices at the discount store are closer together. They're between like $17 and $35. Okay, so they're only about $20 apart. Whereas the mall store goes all the way from like 18 to 45. So that's more like 30-some dollars in spread. Okay, so that's what a box and whisker plot allows us to do, is to analyze data. So we could look at this other graph down here. Okay, we have students' heights of girls and heights of boys. So what could we say about the heights of girls and the heights of boys? Well, one thing you might say is that the range of heights for the girls is much larger than the range of heights for boys, because their high and low values are so far apart, and the boys are much closer together. Okay. You could also say something like, most girls are between 56 and 60 inches tall, whereas most boys are between 60 and 64 inches tall. You could say something that, in general, boys are taller than girls. Things like that. So that's how we can use a box and whisker plot to compare data. And then in the next video, we're actually going to be drawing a box and whisker plot from a set of data.